Hey guys, it's Steve Zalunardo and Hussein Kabani in East Meets West podcast. It is episode 4, I believe.
I think we're 5 now.
5? No? We better keep an eye on that. Awesome, buddy. So how was your week?
Week has been great, actually. So the property that we were working on, you were able to pull something off on that. That's amazing.
No showings, eh?
Still
I didn't report it still condition just until like late yesterday, but still no calls, nothing. So
we got lucky.
That was the right offer.
Yeah. That was really good. That was a really good call. So we had some success on that one, which is great. And there was a buyer that I've been working with since the end of last year. We went on a trek from Pickering
right?
But dude, we went from Pickering to Stouffville to Markham to Richmond Hill to Vaughan to Kleinburg.
Wow.
Yeah. So we went on a trek. They're really good clients of mine, so I don't mind at all taking them out and whatever else. It was like we had a good time too. Like we stopped for lunch and it was a good time. But it came down to like what I was telling them before. I said Pickering Ajax is your best bet because I am obviously biased about that. So, but yeah, we ended up finding a great property in Ajax. They had some hesitations. We wanted to make sure everything was going to work out. They're very smart investor mindset kind of people too. So basically there was a property they liked. We didn't go for it right away. When we went to go for this property, there was another 3 offers registered. And this is like 20 days on the market. And it's not a cheap property either for like Ajax standards, right? It's like $950,000. So it's not like a cheap property for Ajax either. So there was like another 3 offers registered.
Wow.
You know what happened? We actually ended up being the second highest offer on that. And then there was a higher offer than us, and they ended up going with that offer.
Okay. Yeah.
The next day, the agent calls me and says that guy flopped. And then I just told him, because even on that day, right? I said, and to leverage myself a little bit, right? Like I said, who's the other agent? Like, do you know the other agent? I said, you know me, and you know where I'm working, so you know that if I'm bringing this offer, I've already done my due diligence. Like I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, like, it'll be fine and whatever else. I said, okay, like, that's your call. Good luck, congrats.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I wonder how high the other offer was.
I don't think it was too much further than where we were at.
So what the hell? Why wouldn't they just go with you?
I don't know. Everyone gets blinded by money, and I guess since they had the other offers as well or whatever, they kind of felt a little bit of a surety that if something happens here that they'll come back, and right away, like that's what we did. This all happened by like 10 p.m. on Monday night. Tuesday night, I got a call at like 8:30 p.m. They're not dropping off the checks. They said someone passed away in their family. Like, come on.
Feet.
Basically cold feet, right? And then I just said like, look, I'm sending you this offer back right now, and I just gave them an irrevocable until 11:59, and the guy's like, you're so aggressive, and I'm like, well, what do you want, man? We played this game yesterday.
I call everybody tomorrow, and they're all gonna bump it up.
So long story short, he couldn't get a hold of the buyer or the seller at that time, so we just changed the irrevocable to like 10 a.m. and I was like, that's it, man. If you don't get this signed by 10 a.m., like we're good, like we're gonna move on because we're paying you a lot of money for this. Anyway, so that was good. We got that one locked up. It's conditional for 3 days, so by Monday we should be good to go on it. The nice thing is that, like I said, we've done all the background research about financing and whatever else like that, so that one should be good.
Very nice.
Aside from that, this week we got my 2 listings finally up and loaded. We had a bit of a delay because of the snowstorm.
The weather too.
So one of them we staged on Monday and listed Tuesday. That was a semi-detached in Ajax. And then we have another one in Pickering that we were supposed to stage on Tuesday and list on Wednesday. But because of the snow, like the staging company's movers, they basically canceled because there was so much snow, like on our street, like so it's near my house, like the house that we listed or going to list today. Like the snow was like 30 centimeters, and the plows were not going through it.
So you dirty the house too with the snow and everything.
So anyways, it got done yesterday, was Wednesday or whatever, so it got staged and whatever, so we're gonna launch it today. So that's
good. It's a very active week, eh?
Yeah.
Same here with us. So we had the success on the Angus property, that farm we've been talking about. Now we're going into another period of it. I'm not going to mention too much about it. We just did some chess playing moves yesterday to get this thing done, which is cool. We'll talk about it more in May and June. I think it'll be one of those the procedures I've just taken now with this one deal. I think it's going to be documented how to proceed on this. It's quite brilliant, honestly, but I can't talk about it until June because that's
you want to make sure.
Everything is done and my clients are out of harm's way, right? So that was cool. Listings, like our listings got a ton of showings, like buyer showings right now. It's insane. Like one of them had 21 showings in the last like 15 days, but no offers, right?
Okay. What's the feedback?
So the price is great naturally for what you're getting. Just the building doesn't stack up, right? It's got high condo fees, and what they're logically they're thinking, if I'm going to pay $600 for condo fees here, I can get into a newer building, buy it for more, and have a condo fees of $300, so I can offset the mortgage, which makes sense. It's logic. Yeah. And that's it. Yeah, ton of stuff coming up. Like every day we're contacting leads that are looking to buy and sell, right? Just right now everyone's sort of lukewarm. And pricing, I'm having issues with talking to people about the value of their houses right now. I think it's actually worse 2019 than 2018. I got to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, because they're
expecting it to be up.
Yeah, like I had a conversation with one guy. He's like, well, it was X, like over 900 in 17. But I mean, ultimately, things have changed, right? And the market reflects that. We know that it's been over a year and a half, almost 2 years, where the market's. Well, how long has it been now? What, a year and a half?
Year and a half.
Year and a half that it flipped. Like it
almost 2, right? Like April would be 2 years.
April would be 2 years.
Yeah, so April would be 2 years.
So that's the only thing right now. It's like trying to explain to your clients, like past clients of influence, people that that what the real value of their house is.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, like, I can come in and play the same game as every other agent and tell you the world. I can sell it. I know I can sell it.
Yeah.
I can sell bullshit. Anybody can, right? If you have the confidence behind it. Like if you can sell it. If you really want to sell it, like I can do it if I want to, but I don't choose that route. I'll give you what the numbers are up front, where you can base what you're going to net when you walk away from the property, and then ultimately we can list it higher and then play the game from that point, right? But I want you to know this is where I am right now. This is where the market is, right? If you want to fluff it up because lack of inventory, let's do it. But yeah, so that's a big issue right now. I think there's like 3 or 4 people right now that they want to sell and they're looking for this crazy money, and I don't know if I want the listings at those prices. I got to be honest, because they're going to sit in the market, and then you know how it is, right? You explain that these are the prices, and then you list it at their price, and then you get blamed for it after, right?
But I think your approach is correct, and I do the same thing as well. It's like, fine, I will take on a listing to a certain point that is a little bit overvalued than what I feel that it's worth, but I will set the expectation straight right from the beginning. I'll tell you that, hey, like, this is where it's going to trade at.
Yeah.
Kind of what you do. You give them a range, right? You're going to trade between this and this. You want to go here? Okay, we'll try it, but you got to know that this is where we land.
This is where we need to be.
Yeah, this is where we're going to land.
Give it a go. Lack of inventory, I agree with that. Like,
sure.
It's a good opportunity, like my condo there, 21 showings in like 15 days. That's like insane. It's almost like 2017 amount of showings, right? So, but again, no offers. So we've attracted all the buyers that are looking for something different. Now we got to adjust the price down, 20K. Like we're at 439. I think that will sell between that 410 to 420 range naturally. So it's like 5%, I would think now, just over value. So we're gonna adjust that down.
How do you think something like this would work if they're concerned about the condo fees? Like 6 months will cover your condo fees, or something like that.
Yeah. We do some sort of incentive, right?
Yeah. Or we'll pay 50% for a year.
Yeah. So, that's not even that bad. It's only 50% for a year, so 36. That's actually a great idea.
Yeah, there you go.
Still gonna do that.
Just put it right on the picture on the MLS or whatever.
Bring that back to my clients today.
We're gonna pay 50%
for the year.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
For 12 months.
Yeah, take it off the price and that's it.
That
easy peasy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And also the chairman's award. Yeah. Send you the referral for you.
Yeah.
So chairman's, like we had the award ceremony on last Saturday, which was awesome.
Look at the number of award recipients though.
11.
11? Yeah.
From last year it was like 25. It was too crowded. Remember, we couldn't
even. It's standard. But like I was talking to Jason, and Jason was telling me it was down like I think 50%. Like about 50%, like in terms of like
sales value.
At that level. Yeah, it dropped down quite a bit.
I've seen a lot of people that we know personally that weren't there either, right? So it is what it is.
It's a different market.
It was a different beast, right?
Yeah,
different beast.
But you know what? Like now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just thinking out loud. Is that we really actually planned this thing out really well.
Yeah.
Compared to like, and I'm not trying to knock anybody or bring anybody down, but even the people that have been in the business 20, 30, 40 years. Like we actually, the way that I think we planned things out actually moved us a lot further forward than these guys. Because these guys, I don't want to call it taking a step down, but like at the end of the day, the awards are based on production, right? So the thing is that we actually ended up holding ours or increasing our production at the same time. Whereas these guys that have been in the business, they kind of back down. And I think it's because of the chats that we have and the business planning sessions that we run, and adding this like new component to it all the time, right? Doing these podcasts or doing increase on social media.
Absolutely.
Be willing to actually change what you're doing and not being stubborn and just saying, you know, I'm gonna dial 300 numbers. Like at a certain point, it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. Yeah.
So I think
beating a dead horse, honestly.
So I think that based on what we were even saying right now, I think that this industry is changing, and I hope and I feel like we're at the front of it where this is all gonna go.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. You know, the Americans are always ahead of us in everything, right? Naturally, right? And if you just follow their agents and what they've been doing, like, and there's a lot that don't, trust me, but there's a lot of good ones that are. Yeah. They've been doing video for the last 3 to 5 years, to be honest with you, right? They've had everything that we're doing now. They've already been at the forefront. Yeah. And it's unfortunate. At least we've taken it now, and we're going to lead with it. Yeah. But I think you're right. Like, everything's changed. And I mentioned in with one of my Mondays with Steve that I don't think a lot of people took it very seriously coming into 18. But we like 2017. We're like, we got to go away. We need at least a couple of days to focus on this, because. Yeah. How are we going to attack 2018 the way we did? And for me, it was a great year. I creeped into Chairman's. I'm super excited about that. Actually, my transactions are up because the volume amount is down, like for sales, right? Yeah. But it was good. And you know what? We had fun doing it. And it was good. There was no pressure. We had, in the past, there's always that pressure. Like, I think, when you post those things on the wall, like who's number one in the office and stuff like that, I think it gives you the... For me, it's counterproductive. I got to be honest, because it's like, holy shit, I got to get on there. People are gonna, talk shit or whatever. So, at the last couple of years, I didn't give a shit anymore. It's like, if I'm there, if I'm not, I'd rather be 6th place making $50,000 a month. Yeah. 12 months out of the year. Yeah, 100%. The consistency. I'll be right at the 6th mark, but $50K per month as long as I'm 6 and $50K per month at the end of the year. Now you're gonna see, like in that office there, so I'll be top 5. I think I'm gonna be, I should be 3rd, I would imagine. But I might go to 4th because one guy did like some massive land deals and stuff. Wow. Like he did like 2 deals. He did 1 deal that would take me to do 20 deals. Right? Yeah. So, but if I had to base it on volume of sales, I'd probably rank number 2 for sure. Wow. Yeah, easy. Because even the guy that's going to go 2nd place, he had some massive big sales, like well over, multiple $2 million properties selling. You make $50,000, $70,000
on those properties.
Some of them he double-ended.
Wow.
So at 4 points, he did 4 points at $2 million. Do them. That's $80,000 one shot. I got to do like 10 deals to do that.
but you know what?
I don't care, right?
But
I like working.
But to get to your even to your point, right? So the thing is that like even when I joined Remax, like I to a certain point at the beginning when they're doing these rankings, because that was new to me. Yeah. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like,
I was like, okay, number 1. So they split it up, buyer sales and like listings, like number one. I have all those certificates there. To a certain point I'm just like, hey, do not add me to this list anymore. Like I don't want to be on it. And then our brokerage had the way of like paging everybody with listings. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I get a fury of texts and it's basically saying, hey, how'd you get this one? Like that's 3 listings. Like what happened? I'm just like, dude, like I'm just trying to do my job. Like it just, you do you. You know what I mean? Like I don't mind helping to a certain point, but then it becomes too much, and I feel like the attention you get is not the one that you actually want.
Absolutely, you're putting too much pressure on yourself, and you're gonna burn out. Yeah. So like that, even so even pages, pages get out. Like I told them, I don't want to know who's got what listing because sometimes you'll be sitting there 8 p.m. at night watching television. You're like, how the hell did he get that listing? And I'm here watching TV. That guy just picked up a listing. Yeah. Then you're not even resting at that point. Now your mind is racing. How am I going to get more? How am I going to get more? Yeah. And then you become counterproductive. So just isolate.
You know what?
Just focus on yourself.
This even leads me, and I don't want to get way off track, but this leads me to a conversation I had with a buddy yesterday. And another conversation that we've had with somebody else too. Is like sometimes what ends up happening is that when you run your own business, you get caught up in like sales. But then the thing is that you don't step back for a minute and say, hey, like, look, I need this time for myself. Yeah. Because if I don't invest in myself and invest in personal development, like, there's no way this is going to grow anymore. You're going to end up in like chasing yourself in a circle over here if you don't add personal growth to it. If you don't grow yourself, you're not going to be able to grow the business.
100%.
Because I would look at it as a living organism. You know what I mean? Like this thing has to be living, breathing, and growing at the same 100%. Time, right? And if you're just focused on getting sales, there's nothing else you can add that's innovative to this process. Yeah. And it goes back to what I was saying is that, even these people that have been in the business for such a long time, eventually they're dropping out because that's all they did. You know, they ran a very transactional business. Transactions were coming in. They never really innovated the business. And now some of them are trying to get back into it, but it's just 100%. Like people like you and I, and there's other people out there too, just
for sure.
rushing it. Do you know what I mean? Like just absolutely clobbering them from every angle.
100%.
Like I am competitive as hell. So like, I mean, I have an eye on like market share in the areas I work, and I know some of the people that have been working in the areas that I'm working in now for 20 years or 30 years. As long as I've been alive, they've been working in this area. You know what I mean? But year over year, I can see like we're just like pulling market share. You can see.
You gotta always do a checkup from the neck up, and I think that's important with your business too. They always say, like with children, they always say, fill someone else's bucket up with kindness. You know what they call it, and that's like you said, self-improvement. There's a bucket there. If you're not filling it up daily with whatever you're doing, learning and improving yourself, you're never gonna bring it back or reflect back into your business. And this is where life became more balanced for me. Let's say even in 18, last year, let's call it, life became more balanced where I put in, so that bucket was full of passion now, it was full of family, it was full of like goals and ambitions for my future with development and stuff like that. And then there was also my ambition for my real estate career to keep it going, right? Yeah. And then also the ambition to retain the business that we have. Because I think a lot of, like you said, transactional based agents, they just like, they want to go out and just kill. But you got to farm too, in a sense. We're like, be a farmer where you plant seeds, you water them, you maintain them, you grow them, and you pick your tomatoes seasonally or whatever it is, your vegetable that you're growing. So it's the same idea, and I think that's probably been my savior, because even going into my ferry early on, that is super transactional based, because they wanted us. I was making 60,000 cold calls per year.
Wow,
imagine,
that's crazy.
The number doesn't even make sense. I would speak to about 7,000 to 8,000 people.
That's
per
crazy.
year. Okay, so dialing 60,000 calls. But that's, so, you know, thank God I did that, but I always, being European in a sense, it's like that, you have to always take care of who took care of you. That's like that whole thing. It's like a mafia, let's call it, right? So you take care of the people that took care of you. So I've always had in the back of my mind, always give the best service, always give them as much as I can. Like even these events I do for them, like that Halloween, October events, that's like $4,000 event, right?
It's huge.
It's
really
a substantial. You know, a lot of people, like, and you do your events too, like a lot of people won't do that. They won't reinvest back into them. But you know what, they gotta get everybody back and kind of give back, even though it's not, there's not like a carnival ride and the whole thing, but it's a very expensive.
But it's gonna grow to that, Steve.
Yeah, we had about 150 people.
But this is what I'm saying, right? Like 1% a day, right?
Yeah, there you go.
I love that. But you know what? It's all about taking care of the people that take care of you. You know what I mean? Like the clients that I have, like they're so good with me. Like I have a client right now that's on vacation, and he's just like, dude, I've been watching my security camera and that snow's just piling up. He's like, I hate to ask you, is there any way you can help me get somebody over there and like clean this up? Like I don't want to deal with this when I get back. Of course I'm going to. I don't want everyone calling me and asking me that.
Right? Your store moves, service.
But you know what? Like these one-off requests I get, like absolutely, man. Can I like drop the $40 and make this guy's life easier when he comes back from vacation? For sure. You know what I mean?
That's nice. That's an amazing. That's amazing to do for your clients.
Why not, right? Like I mean, they help me. They bought and sold with me. They've referred people to me. You know, we go out. We have a good time. So like, why not? You know, and I think this is all what it's about. What we're talking about is just taking care of the people that take care of you. You know, are they going to go anywhere else when they want to buy or sell real estate? No. Like they're even looking for an investment property in the future. You know what I mean? Like.
You know, I put something else on that too, because I'm you know, heart on the sleeve, open, give them everything. But if they don't choose me for some reason, I'm not gonna be mad about it either.
No, I'm not.
You know, but so you know, becoming more elder and mature. Because in the beginning it was like, I did all this in the beginning of my career, and now you're gonna do that. It doesn't happen often, but there's those one-offs, right? And I would get upset. Now I guess it's like, hey, listen, you need to do what you gotta do. Like there's one family I went to bat with them, and they. I think it was a 2011 or 2012 sale. I went to bat with them. It was the worst property you can get. It was backed on. I swear it was the
worst property.
It was unstable.
I got a worst property.
I'll tell you this one. So it was a multi-level house backed onto a train with a slope. You couldn't even get up. This high, honestly. It was.
So the train is literally like running on top of the house.
Yeah, and so that house there, when we were kids, because we lived on the other side of the tracks there, literally, we used to come, that was like our we do about 70 kilometers an hour coming, or at least 40, let's say. Maybe I thought it was 70 when I was a kid, but 40 kilometers an hour is aluminum slide coming down. That's how steep this thing was. You can't climb it, it's unclimbable. You need literally like a lanyard to go up. It's insane. So the house is a multiplex, so there's no basement. The family room is split off to one other area. The garage, so the garage is a double car garage, but the way, because they put a jog in the front entrance, you can't fit a car here.
Oh man. So it's the write-off, it's storage space.
The whole house is like the worst designed property ever. Not to mention when the train runs by, the clients at that time told me, oh, you don't even hear it. I was in there, it was like,
this is like bullshit.
It was like a poltergeist in there. So anyway, sell this property. We went to bat with these guys. It was the hardest sale of my career, honestly. And we sell the property, and now I get them into another property, and now they're listing with someone else.
What?
But every year we give them tickets to the home show. We bring them wine. We give them market information, free CMAs per year. Invite them to our October event, like the whole like shebang, right? Anytime you call, there's something, you need something, I'm always there. So they listed with somebody else. And you know what? I said, that's okay. I just told my assistant, Lisa, delete, done, yeah, that's it. And I just said, hey guys, I see you're listed. If you need anything, let me know in the future. If you like, just very respectful, right? Like you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. That's it. But and I come to that conclusion, like not to be upset, right? Yeah. We invested even after the sale, like 5 or 6 years, and and they chose a different route, which didn't even make sense. But anyway, ultimately it was like, just unplug and go. House is still for sale, 4 months.
Wow. One similar story like that even yesterday with someone I was talking to. We were having the same type of conversation. We were basically saying, hey, I was just saying, I get it, you know a lot of agents and whatever, and if you didn't choose me, I'm okay with that. I just want the best outcome for you at the end of the day, right? And then he's like, well, I would be upset, I would be upset about it or whatever. And I just said, it is what it is. I think earlier on, just like what you said, I would have been upset about it too, but now it's just what purpose is it going to fill? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's already done. The dude signs on the lawn. You never got the call to ask even or consideration. So what's the point?
No, just move on. Just move on. Yeah.
If you sit in that moment, nothing good is going to happen out of it. No. You know what I mean?
It's things you can't control.
Yeah. So let it happen.
And people have they have different thoughts and different reasons why.
Yeah.
Maybe that agent did something for them in the meantime. Maybe they lent them $100,000 you don't know about, right?
Yeah.
It's just whatever. It's still be mad.
Rob Vivian calls these. So I coach with Rob Vivian, and he calls these "Are you kidding me?" moments. Right? He's just "Are you kidding me?" Okay. You just move on.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
It's all a process, and I think it's business maturity too. I look at some of the elder agents in our office. I gotta respect even Joe Circini. I respect that guy. I gotta be honest. He's been in the career for 30 odd years, very successful, Diamond Club award winner. Not a team. I think he's just got one buyer's agent, and maybe I don't even know if he's got an assistant. But anyway, so it's just productive, but very professional. The guy's got a beautiful career. If I had to mimic one career in real estate, I'd probably want to mimic that man there because no one has a bad word to say about him. He's got a great retention with clients. And he's very accurate with everything he does. List sales, he's got a good reputation.
Good.
Yeah, so that's
he's doing it right.
Yeah, he's doing it amazing. Yeah. And profitable at the end because ultimately it's not that you're not running this massive organization where you're only taking 20% of the take, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, because of the real estate business the way that it is, what do we have? 53,000 agents that are registered, somewhere in that number on Toronto Real Estate Board right now. And I think the number was agents that did a minimum of one transaction. I think it was either 35 or 36,000 agents that did minimum of one. So that means that there was 17,000-ish agents or something like that did 0 transactions.
Wow.
The average I think still is amongst all of the agents, it was 2.3 transactions per agent or something else like that.
In the license.
I don't know, but there's such a mixed amount of people that are in this business. It's hard. So someone like Joe that has a great reputation. He's doing something really right with what he's doing.
And it's been over the 30-year span where you kind of like a Remax the awards how we are, right? And then you can kind of see how that's just a constant progression, right?
Yeah.
And it's great. And like I said, if I have to stay in this business that long, I would want to mimic that career because I think that would work for me.
The other thing also is that, like, look, if you're going to take care of your clients, they're going to take care of you. You're going to have the oddballs that kind of drop out, you know, the story you just told. But like, for the most part, like, it's way easier to even deal with the people that you've already dealt with. If they feel comfortable with you, you feel comfortable with them. It's a lot easier to keep your business going at the same time. And the thing is, when the referral comes in, like, you know, there's someone that sent us a referral, and like, eyes closed, they're willing to work with us. Like, come on, man. Like, let's be honest. We use DocuSign to get a lot of the offers signed. You tell me what first-time home buyer is going to go through that entire contract and read word for word.
No one.
No. Tap, 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 tap. Like, I look at that and I'm like, wow. Like, I'm a very ethical guy, and I wouldn't do anything weird to screw you over. You know what I mean? But I'm just thinking to myself, like, you're lucky to a certain point that you're working with me, because you just tap, 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 tap through that. Like, you've never bought a house, you've never seen this contract before, and you just went tap, tap, tap. Like,
you know, that's awesome, because it's your reputation precedes, right? Or you know, it shows, right? Your record. I remember one client was had to read line by line. It was a family investment property. You know what I did? I said, yeah, you guys read. I had another listing there. I filled out all the listings. All the MLS. I was doing work at the table. It took 15 minutes to read the thing. I literally filled out all the MLS and the data information for theirs, and another listing I had going. So it was like, it was perfectly timed too. So I'm like, do you guys have any questions? No, everything's good. Okay.
Sign it. Let's go. But they have those simple forms too, right? The plain language forms with their red. Yeah. So what I do a lot of times with our new clients is that I just give them the form in advance too, right? Just say, hey, like, you're gonna come across this or whatever else. There was even one time, like, we had a buyer in downtown. Joanna and I went down, met with them, and basically, like, walked them through the entire process and went through the entire contract with them too, and just said, hey, things are moving fast over here. We want you to be comfortable with the contract, because when we need this thing signed, like, I need it signed. Now. So I want you to go through this contract. We're going to walk you through it, and I'm going to give you a copy of it, but you got to know what we're putting in this contract and how it works. Because when we need you to sign, we need you to sign.
What did they say with the questions? Do they have any questions with the actual offer itself?
Just like the language and different things like that. But like, at the end of the day, like, you're explaining it to them, and then you're also telling them, like, look at the urea contract, 5 pages, right? Nothing really that we could do differently with that contract anyways. So ultimately, you're going to have to sign it. I tell them that, like, ultimately, you're going to have to sign this if you want to buy a house.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no other choice.
There's no other choice.
Yeah.
You know what I say to them? I go, page 1 is whatever I inputted is what you should look at. Okay, because the other stuff, like you said, is standard.
You know what else I do? And we couldn't get away with it in when the market was like so seller's market. But I have like standard 3 clauses, right, on a freehold. Basically the mortgage, the inspection, and I have a lawyer review clause in all my agreements.
Really?
Yeah, I put a lawyer review clause, because then I tell the buyer too, especially first time buyer, like, look, I have a lawyer review clause in here too. You can take this whole contract to your lawyer, and you can get your lawyer to review it too, if you want to, like, you know, you have an option. Because sometimes they question it too, like, not like hardcore question it, but like, someone's like, when do I get a lawyer involved? Like, should I get the lawyer to review the contract? And I'm like, hey, but the contract is very standard. There's basic information that I'm inputting into this contract over here, and I go through them with the Schedule A. Like, Schedule A is something I've written or my office has written, and this is how it's structured. But it adds that other security. So like, my 3 standard conditions are that.
Lawyers. How do you find that? So like, I used it on that farm property I sold because it was just one of 3. Especially I don't even have a listing agreement in place anymore. So it was like, if you do it on regular purchases, like, you know, for a client.
You know what? Right now,
how much time does that absorb though?
Everything I put in is 5 days, right?
5 days.
So everything all comes together at 5 days. Sometimes I get pushed back from a seller agent or whatever, and I'm like, dude, if you have 5 days condition, if I want to walk, we're going to walk. Right? So what is the lawyer review going to do? My client's going to feel comfortable that the contract's been reviewed.
For sure.
So what do we have to lose here? You and I both know the contract really well, and there's nothing in this contract that's going to break this deal. So let them review it. Let them do it.
Let them do their job.
Let them. Let them. So, you know, I always put it in there, and I usually don't have too much pushback. Like that one deal that I did just this week, I told you about, that we got multiples, then we picked it up afterwards. The guy's like, you have lawyer review clause. I said, buddy, okay, fine, whatever, just scratch it out. Because they're multiples or whatever else. Still have a financing and home inspection condition, but I just didn't want to argue that one. And then plus my buyers were buying with me for the 3rd time. You know what I mean? I was just like, whatever. Absolutely. It's not a condo, it's freehold, let's just cross it out.
Absolutely. Oh, that's good. That's good planning too. Like, especially with new clients too that you haven't done business with. makes them feel a lot more comfortable that there's a, especially if it's someone that comes off a sign or something like really cold lead. Yeah, that's actually a good way to do it.
You know what? But it's all about innovating the business, right? So we're looking at it in a different way. Hey, how can we make the process better and faster?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that, and not faster to rush off the client, but it's just like, hey, like what other processes can we put in place? Like, okay, meeting with them, the initial meeting with the buyer, and just going through like how the process works, actually mapping it out and walking them through the steps of how we're going to do it. Do you know what I mean? And then the documentation that's involved, and after the documentation, and then after the deal is firmed up, what's going to happen. So we walk them through a whole timeline of it, and I think at the end of the day they know what's happening.
And they're confident at the end, I would imagine.
Because you know what, sometimes what ends up happening is, and I'm learning this from experience, is sometimes they're like, oh, what happens next? I get that so many times, right? What I know what I'm doing. Yeah, but like I now I have to appreciate that they don't do what I do, you know what I mean? And I know what's going on, and they probably don't know what's going on. So more documentation and more filling them in advance, educating them basically, has been really beneficial.
And the good thing is, 2018 we had this advantage to do all this. 17 it wasn't like that.
No,
it was the Wild West.
Yeah,
go. 18's nice. You can explain. You can be more calm. You can get things signed now. You can send them tomorrow. It's a different market. It's beautiful. I think it was honestly 18 was one of my favorite markets of the year. Yeah, and I think 19 is going to be too.
I think 19 is going to be a great
lot
year.
of energy, eh? It's almost like it's breaking. It's got to break through the crust. It's almost like a volcanic explosion.
Yeah,
you can feel all that energy and just like. Because even inventory, I'm looking at it now. It's not increasing quite.
That's what I said. It's not going up.
I look at it, so I have like that on Treg we have that shows you the areas that you're looking into, the listings that are new listings coming up, right? In areas that you're monitoring. So I'm like sporadic. I'm York region. There's Nobleton and Kleinburg is specifically one. Then there's like Allison, Barrie, Angus, like all that whole section. And I think another one is potentially maybe it's out here. Anyway, so there's 4 or Bolton, Caledon. So ultimately, I look at these things. It's 0 most of the day.
Yeah.
Like even Caledon, I think only like 3 listings went up yesterday.
Yeah.
And our overall listings were still just like 12,150, 12,200, right? Yeah. So. I don't know. We'll see. It might be okay. It might be it's going to be tough for our buyers. That's the only issue, right? Like it's got to balance out. We still need a little bit more inventory. Good time to sell now to unload everything, but I hope that inventory starts building up because I have buyers and sellers, but they won't pull the trigger unless they start finding stuff that they like, right?
I think that we're going to start to see more and more, and I mentioned it before, more and more of a traditional market.
Yeah.
2018 was a little bit mixed up. The
Delayed.
timing wasn't correct. Not correct, but it was just a little bit off where people really think where the spring market and the fall market actually hit. So it was off on timing of it. I think this year, it's only my feeling is, and I think we're going to be a little bit more accurate. I think that we will have that spring market pop up and happen, and then we'll have that fall lift again. But I think we're right on pace because I'm sure the people that you're talking to and the people that I'm talking to, other people are talking to, there are listings coming out. Like people are talking about selling. Yesterday I got 2 calls. You know what I mean? Like so, like I know that people are starting to get their head right about doing it. The other thing also happens is that I think mentally people just wait for this weather to kind of go away, right? Like
it takes you out of the game.
Yeah, like what are you gonna do? Like you really want to start the decluttering right now and have people come through your house? No, man. I think you want to go to work, come back, and hide.
And hibernate.
Yeah.
My daughter hasn't been to school in 3 days.
Come on, man. Homeschooling.
Yeah,
I saw some painting videos.
Yeah, my wife.
That's awesome.
Nicholas loves it because he's got company. How late was your fall market? Because usually it should happen like right. The kids go back to school around that time, right? First week of September usually start to pick up. I think there's that huge momentum.
Honestly, man, I think we were in like October. Before it happened. Like September, it wasn't a great month at all. October and November was good, and then at the second week of December, we kind of died off. But October really, we started to see a lift into October. Yeah. November was strong, and then obviously 2 weeks into December, it just like we lost everything. Like it just went flatline.
Yeah, it just went.
Yeah.
So I think the same thing with us. I think 2nd or 3rd week of October. Then it was like this little uproar.
It was into October. It wasn't at the beginning of October.
No. It was in.
It was for 6 weeks. Like really at the middle of October, at the end of November, it was done. Like 6 weeks, it was basically over.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think even by December, I was already planning. Like end of November, December was all about 19 this year, right?
Yeah.
And I had a great December too. Probably the best one in my career, honestly. Yeah. Yeah,
I can't remember.
I did like 5 or 6 sales, but the dollar value was huge, right?
Yeah.
So it was good, taking me into at least 19. Because even last year, 17 into 18, I didn't carry any money over.
Okay.
It's like,
that's
it was
that
scratch.
Yeah,
I know this year we carried some money into it, so at least we can pay some bills. But I think last year, my first check I cashed, or like I could actually distribute and start paying bills, was in March.
Wow.
I was like bleeding money like crazy, and there was a whole new reinvestment, right? So I was bleeding money like crazy and hemorrhaging. So now, even now, going into this year, I look at the general account and everything is taking a beating. Like we're hemorrhaging money like crazy. So now, like I think actually yesterday a deal closed, so I'll have some money in now, start paying some.
But that's what I find in our business. But that's what I find in our business.
Every business.
Yeah.
I just realized this.
It's all businesses.
Just after Christmas. I met with a client, remember I told you?
Yeah.
He's got 30 employees, a 20,000 square foot manufacturing shop. They do like a lot of just store displays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're very successful businesses, like all the huge chain stores. He's got a line of credit, just like $750,000, just to offset. Like between getting paid and pricing out jobs and getting the manufacturing done, and just imagine $750,000.
Wow.
And I looked at him and saying, "Holy shit! Like, yeah, that's next level. That's not nowhere near where I am." But we all struggle with the same damn thing. If we're not buying real estate or reinvesting whatever little nuts and bolts, let's call it, into some sort of real estate, some sort of different avenue. I say real estate. I like my real estate. When you retire, you're not gonna have nothing to sell. Like,
no.
If you're leasing that building, let's say that 30,000 square foot building that he's leasing, and you got your business and you got all these contracts, but I mean, how much is that worth? Right? It's like someone can just say, screw it, I'll go get your business, I'll open up the factory.
Well, look at what Dragon's Den and those guys say, right? Like, why are you so important? Like, I can replicate this whole thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's happening all the time. But no, man.
Scary.
Like I agree. So like even like I've noticed that. I think I started noticing it 2 or 3 years ago. It's just like at the beginning of the year, we're so tapped out. Like I'm watching it so closely.
Oh my gosh.
Towards like the middle of the year, we're like 4 months in, 5 months in, and they're like, okay, fine. Like you're starting to have a good flow come in. But it's just like before that point, I'm on like pins and needles. I'm just like, even what I was telling you I was doing yesterday, I was just like transferring a bit of cash over, and it's like, oh man, like I don't feel comfortable doing this.
Yeah, but you got to do it. They always say pay yourself first. Yeah. I did it too. Just I think 2 weeks ago.
Well, I learned that from you, dude.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm just like.
You know what happens? It disappears, and you have to start. You don't even see it. If you have it, the problem is if you see it there, you're gonna. I don't know. Just reinvest in the business on stupidity, which you don't need right now. I think right now it's all about focus on like getting new business and getting listened to the market and sold, right? So we can have that like May, June, where all the money comes in. It's like, but you can start breathing again.
Yeah, you're right. If you see it there,
small business owner, man.
I know, man.
Isn't that crazy?
I love it.
Did you ever learn this in school?
No. This is learning on your own, man. You have to learn this on your own.
School of hard knocks,
buddy. But school, what are they going to teach you?
Nothing. I think high school.
I think it opens the door.
High school was 4 years of wasted life. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
It was. I shouldn't have even been there. Look at Elon Musk now. So he took his son out of whatever private school that he had in, because he didn't like the curriculum, and he created his own school. When you got that kind of money, you can do it, right? So like parents are bringing kids to like his like homeschooling, but it's all about finding the strengths of these kids and letting them run with it, right? And they're introducing them to fun stuff. But I think like in high school, it was just a waste of time. And they always say, idle time for me is a destructive time. That's how I become the most destructive.
Yeah.
So if I'm not engaged or not passionate about anything I'm doing, it's full destruction. And I see my son now. If he's not really if we're not paying attention to him, we're not playing with him, he does. It's almost like he'll start just going nuts around the house, start smashing things.
Yeah.
But if you keep him engaged, you keep him painting, see how passionate he was there with his hands.
Yeah.
And he sat there for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Wow.
Think about it.
Really into it.
Yeah. But you take away the painting, and when I get home, sometimes I just want to watch TV, unplug it, whatever it is, right? And my wife always says, you got to spend more time with them, play with them, engage with them, right? And a lot of times I don't. I got to be honest. I'll be able to tell that straightforward. And I see him. He just becomes really destructive around the house.
Wow. And
he'll start bringing all kinds of shit of toys, dragging around, making noise, and he's jumping off things. Same with me. That's how I was. Even now as an adult, right?
Yeah.
So.
But for what I believe is like, and I heard this from Grant Cardone, right? And it's just like you shouldn't hamper that behavior.
Yeah, no.
Like, of course, if they're destroying the house, then that's a different story. But like, I mean, like if they're active and this and that,
rechannel that energy.
Yeah, rechannel it. Like, but let them have it.
No, 1,000%.
Wouldn't tell them to like stop or this or that, but just okay, why don't you do this instead or whatever?
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Well, look at grade 8.
You want to shut them down.
No, I wanted to have that energy. In grade 8, I think I mentioned it. I won't go. It's a long story, but I won't go totally into it. But anyway, in grade 8. Remember Ritalin came out, this drug? They made ADD, attention deficit disorder. Now it's something else. I forgot. There's more.
They need to make more money, bro. They have to add more letters.
Sell drugs. Selling drugs legally.
Yeah.
So how do you do it, right? So they sent out like people to each school, like almost like psychiatrists. I won't go totally into it. Like, and they would test different students. So, like I said, my energy wasn't channeled. I was born. I was destructive, and it's still till now. So, I wasn't the best student. That's just the way it was, right? And so they assessed me. They thought that I had ADD, which I do. Naturally I do. Any entrepreneur has ADD, and it is compulsive. Yeah. You think Elon Musk is not ADD? Like, how can you create all that if you don't have that? So anyway, it was a wrong assessment. I'll tell you this, because if you think of someone like my son and myself, where we need energy to burn, and we got to burn it, they took away my recesses to do this assessment. So I was checking things just to get the hell out of there, right? Yeah. So sure, everything was probably wrong, and they said, okay, this kid needs some serious help. Yeah. So they prescribed ADD, and I remember going into, and it was a long process. My mom, poor thing, she believed the teachers. They had a degree, so she was always subservient to someone that had a higher education, coming from Italy with a grade 4. That's mostly Italians was like that, right? Grade 4 education. And so basically, they brought me to, they're like, okay, we're going to prescribe ADD and this and that. I was grade 8. We sat in with the principal, vice principal, my mom, a psychiatrist, all kinds of shit. You know what I said to them? I said, fuck you. I swear to God, I go, fuck you, I'm not taking any drugs. Yeah. I didn't say hamper, I don't think I knew that word, but hamper who I am. Yeah. Like, that's it, it's done. And I walked out. Imagine
you took that.
It would have destroyed me. Yeah. So now look at, and I'd like to file a lawsuit, honestly, in the future regarding this, because it's the.
But how many kids did they mess up?
How many did they mess up? Yeah. How many people? I told them straight out, and I told them, fuck you. I said, like, and I walked out, and they were like, it's like, these are all, graduate, university, graduated, one's an MD, one's whatever, right? And I just told them what it was, and I walked out. So let's just say the course of my path. So now I'm successful in real estate. I'm into different avenues where millions they're at the doorstep. They're here now. Yeah. Asset value or equity value. But I mean, multiplying per year. Let's just say I took that drug and it just totally like mellowed me right out.
Yeah, you wouldn't have done nothing.
It wouldn't have done nothing. Yeah. It would have destroyed me. Yeah. So like, is there not a lawsuit there? Like, honestly.
How many kids got destroyed? What they're doing. Yeah, it's very unethical.
So. And then we're a business. We understand. What was the purpose of that? So the guy that created the drug company that created Ritalin says, how the hell do we sell this? Yep. We got to go to the schools. Sure. We got to find our candidates to take this drug. Yeah. Would it kill them? No, but it's going to mellow them out. Maybe, I don't think maybe they had the right intentions. I'm not sure, but how do you sell it? So now they talk.
At the end of the day, it's a business.
It's a business.
That's the thing.
They got to sell the drug.
They got to sell it.
So now they send in their prospectors, which are these psychiatrists, to make it legal, so maybe no lawsuit. Yeah. And they went through maybe 5 of the lowest grades in the class or whatever it was. I was one of them, naturally. And that's it. And they would come up with a shitty assessment. And so I'm still getting like flashbacks of like the room. Imagine that's like post-traumatic stress. The lady was not qualified. She was like a young graduate. She's probably still in university as an assistant or something like that. I don't know. It was just weird, right? It wasn't like a full. She's just too young to do what she was doing, right? And to make that sort of assessment. So how can she sleep at night, even making these assessments, right? Like, that's got to be a shitty job to do for the rest of your life.
But it's like they got to sell the drugs. Yeah. People need employment, and they're experimenting on people.
But why would the Catholic School Board, allow this in? Wouldn't you want to shut that off from the top?
Because the same reason. Oh, okay, these guys have education in this. They have a training in this. They're going to help our students. Yeah. Like, this is what they do, man.
But if I was at the top there and I was saying, well, what do you want to do to these kids? Like, maybe it's us. We're the problem. Let's give these kids some other. Let's channel this energy into something different. Maybe at this school environment's not for them.
You and I both know this, man. When you start going in a path of resistance, it's a very difficult path. Right. So the thing is that what's easier to do? Okay, yeah. Because if this principal or whatever wanted to oppose this, they would have to face so much resistance. Yeah. And they're just like,
So you just
I hate to say it, but there's a lot of
you
people
lay over.
Yeah, you know, it's like outwitting the devil, man, where they talk about that 98%. You know what I mean? The 98% is just going to say, hey, what's my least resistance? Like, okay, they want to come in and do this. I may or may not agree with it, but that's what the board decided. Let them come in and do it. You know, whereas you would probably take a stand and like, who the hell are you? What the hell are you doing with my students? Like, screw you, get out of here. Yeah, but the thing is that you'd face so much resistance and you would actually fight it.
There's probably people probably get fired too.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
Yeah, but most people won't do it. Most people won't do it.
That's crazy.
But you just look at the product of a lot of people out there too, right? Do you think that most people are hitting their maximum potential? No, they're not.
It's tough, right?
Well, the thing is that you're going to have to do things that you don't want to do, right? At the end of the day. To reach your maximum potential, you're going to have to do things you don't want to do. There's a lot of things I do every year that I don't want to do. I just don't want to do them. But guess what, man? Like in the grand scheme of things, the bigger picture, you're gonna have to do it, man. Yeah. Otherwise, what? You're gonna keep going around in a circle, dude, and that would drive me nuts. I know that would drive me nuts. If I kept going around in a circle, it would drive me absolutely nuts. So I'd rather just oppose change and just go right through it.
100%.
Yeah, I'd rather meet that resistance.
They always say when you're uncomfortable, it means you're growing. That's the feeling of growth.
Yeah. And being stagnant for me is like the worst thing ever. Like I cannot sit still. Yeah, I can't believe I've sat still right now so far. I'm moving around too much, but I can't do it. But a lot of these people, man, just go the easy way, collect my paycheck, go home, go on my vacation, do this, and just.
If they're happy with that, that's different. So that,
you're changing the power. I would consider that a power position. So the thing is that now if you're in that position, I think that you got to take yourself out of the equation. I think you got to be that bigger person and take yourself out of the equation. There's a lot, even in our business, if you look at it, you know what I mean. The thing is that. There are people out there that will say or do whatever to collect a commission check. You know what I mean? But I take myself out of that situation.
Yeah.
One reason is, I've been fortunate working the business that I don't need to collect every check.
Of course.
So the thing is that I always take myself out of the position, and I tell my client too, if you don't want to buy the house, don't buy the house. Like, I'm okay. I'm not pressuring you to buy the house, but if you feel it's the right decision, I'm telling you I think it is. But that's on you at the end of the day. So I think even these principals and stuff like that, I think they got to take themselves out of the situation. It's not about them anymore because you've actually taken on a responsibility to protect the overall.
Yeah, I would imagine, right? This is your team.
Same thing like CEOs of companies. Yeah. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they've taken this responsibility. You got to take out your feelings of what you think, and you got to do the right thing.
So the only problem with this is, it's tough on their part. How do they handle this? You got to remember, they've even the principals and teachers, they followed this archaic learning process over the years, so they don't know any different. Maybe now, a lot more information on YouTube, and a lot of people are more influenced by learning to improve themselves by reading via books and YouTube and stuff like that. I think that'll open up a whole new avenue.
It's going to.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Look at the video that we watched. Remember the guy that's basically kind of going through in a court case, saying about how the school, look at the innovation in vehicles and this and this. Look at the school system, how it was designed, and it hasn't changed. It's very, very stagnant.
It's stagnant.
Yeah.
So how do you change that? My goal is, I would love to, if I could unplug from everything. Let's just say, I
in the future,
build, develop, everything is good. I can walk away from that. My kids will do that, and I have $10 million to throw around. I would love to create my own little environment, like a school thing, but then set it up like Elon Musk would, and it'd be everything. You'd have. So look, there's a school in what was I watching? Armenia.
Yeah.
I was watching it. So Anthony Bourdain, brilliant doc. He worked for CNN. He used to go to different countries. You ever watch Anthony Bourdain? So he would go to different countries, and he would show the country, talk about their history, but also enjoy their food. It was a food show, but it was the best way to learn about the country, because he actually go and talk with the locals, talk about what happened and stuff like that, and enjoy their food over dinner, right? I think that's the best conversations when you're breaking bread with each other, right? When everything's most truthful. So anyway, Armenia, if you see, that's like a big war-torn country, Turkey and stuff. There's a lot of conflict there. It's at the end of Europe, and it's around like all Muslim countries and stuff like that. And it's a Christian state. And it's on its own, right? Anyway, we're going into their schooling. They're investing so much into their kids right now.
Yeah.
So you go to a normal school. So look at this. You go to a normal school, whatever we did, and then they have an after-school program, a whole new facility, just separate, and it's free, and you can take whatever you want, and it's privately funded, and you can do engineering, you can do music, you can do writing code, building video games,
whatever you want,
anything. So these kids after school, instead of being around the street and doing stupid things, I would want to go there.
For sure.
They had, like a whole room of like 100 max.
Yeah.
They didn't like go cheap. It was like someone properly funded this thing. So it's like almost like a university campus for all ages. So
That's awesome.
how smart, like those kids growing up with that, like we don't even have that here in North America.
Yeah.
So imagine how they're going to improve their lives going forward.
But exactly what you said.
In a war-torn country.
But exactly what you said
is genocide and a whole bunch of crap, right?
But I'm telling you, man, exactly what you said is what's going to end up happening. There's going to be people like you and other people out there that want to actually see this change in there.
Yeah.
And the change to public school, from my understanding, always stems from private school. So the thing is that whatever's kind of going on in private school, public school eventually grabs onto it from there, right? Because they can see the results of what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think that because of technology and social media and everybody being more aware of kind of what's going on and having easier access to information, I think this is definitely what's going to happen. We are going to start to see private schools that are geared more towards what the individual kid's skill set is like.
Yeah.
And I think the educational program should be more geared towards them, right? Like, just like you, man, they throw me in a class with, all these other people or whatever. I'm going to be the worst student. I don't pay attention. I fail everything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, like, the other mistake with public school is that I think I actually failed every grade. Like, literally failed every single grade. Like, E's and F's.
I never did.
E's and F's. Dude, E's and F's. But guess what? You're moving on to grade 3 now from grade 2. Yeah. And then from 3 to 4. Like, that's bullshit. Like, if you fail, you freaking fail. Yeah. Like, you should be, like, I think that would have fixed me up a little bit more, to be honest with you. The embarrassment of basically saying that you failed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But they push you up.
Just a process.
Yeah.
It's like a meat packaging plant,
Yeah.
It's going to get to the end of that conveyor belt.
I think it's very wrong.
It's terrible. So now my daughter's she's in private school. We had her in Montessori, which is private, and then naturally, where you got to pay, right?
Sure.
And now she's in Kleinberg Christian Academy. So it's basically, it's what's it called? It's a private school, naturally, but it's Christian based in the whole thing, right? And so amazing, like small classes, small amount of students. And it's a good little bubble that she's in too. But I'm just the only thing I'm afraid with that is that bubble. Like she needs to know about outside the real life too.
Yeah.
Because people are cruel, man. And kids are cruel.
You know what? I found I went to I knew these kids before and what their parents did with them, and I thought it was a good idea. I'm not sure if it's still valid or not. They actually kept them in private school up until high school.
Yeah.
And then after high school, they let them go to public school. Because you get that strong foundation, right? Up until grade 8, you get that strong foundation and whatever, and then you go to public, then you go to a public high school.
100%.
Yeah. And
you're hoping that like a lot of the parents are like-minded. You want the best for their kids, and not a lot of people can afford it either. But I'm saying that you're hopefully that it's like-minded where the kids, they can build a relationship for the future and have that network going forward if they're going to be successful and stuff like that. And that's all you hope for, right? I think ultimately, even if like outside of schooling, dance, like my daughter's in competitive dance, I think that's given her like a whole slew of confidence too, like that outside, and that's what she's really passionate about. If you saw her there at the awards, she ripped that dance floor up. She showed like those Remax agents how stiff they really were, right? We had those Angela and Suzette, they're Jamaican. The Jamaicans can move, right? They have like soul rhythm. And she's like, holy shit, where did she get all this, this rhythm, right? Yeah. But it's passion, right? And that's her outlet. And that's all we hope, bud.
It's good, man. Cool.
Yeah.
Went way off of our track.
Yeah, fair enough.
It is what it is.
Very good, buddy. Cool. Want to sign off?
Yep. All right, guys. This was East Meets West. We got carried away today. Usually happens. But send us your comments, questions. No hate mail. Steve covered that last time. But
we'll just delete it.
That's right. Yeah.
So we're 30 subscribers now?
We're picking up a couple a week now.
I showed my wife, I go, look, we had 75 views. She goes, is that good? I'm like, yeah, it's that good. We had 20 with the last one. I'm like, oh, wow, that's good. But anyway, it's picking up traction. Yeah. So if you have any questions, comments, please direct message us. Myself or Hussein will definitely be happy to talk about it for sure.
Yeah. So,
all right, cool. Great day, guys.